please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Right, so first up, let's take a look at the market. So the bulls could not find their gears after a long weekend. The Nifty ending the day 100 points in the red with 42 out of the 50 stocks closing with losses. The Sensex also fell for the fourth straight day, plunging more than 300 points and thereby slipping below its 100-day moving average. Anuj Singhal is standing by with a detailed analysis. Anuj, seems like a bout of Monday blues on Dalal Street.
Bad day for the market, though of course it did recover a bit from the low point, but there is quite a bit of weakness, and of course we didn't really participate in a big global weakness on Friday, so we were due for some punishment anyway. But those Donald Trump tweets clearly not helping the bulls. Couple of IT stocks and couple of banks also actually from the low point did lead a bit of a recovery, especially on the bank Nifty, which did recover from the 200-day moving average. But metal stocks were down, and Tata Motors, of course, was the biggest casualty of those Donald Trump tweets. In fact, that led the Nifty losers today. Along with that, Reliance, ITC, HDFC, Maruti, Lever were the stocks that dragged the markets. Metal stocks, though some of them did come off the morning lows, but still Hindalco, Tata Steel, Vedanta were all down. Other index losers included names like Aurobindo Pharma, Bajaj Auto and Coal India. On the gaining side, Tech Mahindra and TCS. So obviously that IT move is intact, and Sun Pharma as well ended close to the high point. Some big gainers in the F&O space today, stocks like Mindtree, IDBI and BEML, while on the losing end you had stocks like Balrampur Chini, NMDC and Nalco. All in all, the big story today was the defense of 200-day moving average on the Nifty Bank, but slide in the Nifty 50, which is interesting. Tomorrow onwards will be interesting to see if the markets can recover from these crucial levels.
Right, thanks so much for that, Anuj. But moving on from there, the second leg of the budget session began on a stormy note today. So protests and sloganeering by opposition parties led to the adjournment of both houses of parliament. Now remember, the recommencement of the budget session comes just 2 days after the election results in the northeast, where the ruling BJP has emerged as a much stronger party compared to its previous outing. Rituparna Bhuyan joins us now with all the details from the uproar and the chaos that had gripped parliament today. Ritu, so what seems to be the contending issues here?
Not a good start for the second leg of the budget session. Multiple disruptions, and finally both houses had to be adjourned. Several issues which members of parliament from various parties who raised slogans, as well as they stormed into the well of both houses of the parliament. One, of course, was related to Nirav Modi. In fact, the Trinamool Congress started the day by protesting against the government's handling of the Nirav Modi issue outside the parliament. And once both houses of the parliament started, we saw members of parliament from TMC, Congress raising slogans against the government on this. Then you also had the TDP MPs, who's actually part of the government of the NDA coalition, rushing to the well of the House, seeking clarification on the Andhra Pradesh special package. Their colleagues from Telangana were also not behind. They want some clarification of the from the government on their demand related to giving reservations for certain weaker sections of the Muslim community in their state. The TRS MPs want changes in the constitution to happen, for that to happen. Then you also had an issue like Kaveri water that was raised by MPs from Tamil Nadu. And last but not the least, you also had the issue related to PNB as well as Karti Chidambaram being raised. In fact, in Rajya Sabha, we saw some BJP MPs wanting a discussion on this issue, and that led to more ruckus in the House. And finally, even Rajya Sabha had to be adjourned at 2 o'clock for the day.
Right, absolutely, Ritu. Thanks so much for joining us with all the details from there. But moving on to news coming in from the automobile space. So the government's decision to levy a higher duty on the import of completely knocked down products has not gone down with the likes of Ducati as well as Triumph. These two global motorcycle manufacturers have now written to the government seeking to reverse that decision. But they're not alone. We learned from sources that Volkswagen and Ford are also planning to follow suit. So a completely knocked down unit essentially is a vehicle which is imported or exported in parts and not as one assembled unit. Ronit Ronojoy is here with all the details. Ronojoy, what are you picking up from your sources regarding that?
Well, clearly the duty hike in the budget that was announced has not gone down well with several of the automakers that I'm speaking with at this point in time. Different duty hikes have affected different companies in different ways. Let me explain. So as far as the import duty hike in the CKD was concerned, earlier it was 10%. That has been hiked to 15%. And considering the fact that many of the large OEMs like Mercedes-Benz, Audi and BMW are assembling large part of their portfolio for the India market, and that they are doing in different parts of the country, they have been hit severely because of this. And what we now understand is that they have now asked SIAM as the industry body to take up the issue directly with the government, because they feel that this has to be seen in connection with the GST cess hike that was announced in the month of September, and they believe that this is tantamount to being a double whammy for all these manufacturers. Apart from that, we understand from sources that Ducati and Triumph motorcycles have written to the government. Harley-Davidson is likely to follow suit also shortly. Their big concern is, of course, the hike in CKD, pretty much on the same lines as Audi, BMW and Mercedes-Benz. Apart from these players, even some of the volume players like Ford and Volkswagen, they have raised the bogey as well, and they've raised some concerns. Their concern primarily is the hike in certain duty on certain components, which was earlier ranging between 7.5–10%. That has now gone up to 15%. Now remember, Ford, Volkswagen, they might not be doing the big volumes in India, but they are big names in Germany with a company like Volkswagen, and Ford, of course, it's a Detroit headquartered company in the US. And we also now understand some manufacturers are also studying whether the India ASEAN FTA and through Thailand, if they are able to import some of their products to essentially circumvent the duty hike that has been announced in the government. So a lot is afoot. We need to wait and see what happens from here on.
Get you that interview with ArcelorMittal that we told you about before the break. So we are interested in SR Steel and SR Steel only. That's the word coming in from Executive Vice President of ArcelorMittal. Speaking exclusively to CNBC TV18 from Belgium, Brian Arana told CNBC TV18's Anshu Sharma that the company is confident it is in compliance with all the conditions laid down by the lenders to SR Steel. Hear out that chat.
What took you so long to enter India? It's been over a decade. What brings you to India, and what are you betting big on?
Well, I think in terms of getting into India, you know that we had some significant plans for a greenfield facility back in 2008. But the economy went awfully negative after that. And since then, it's been very difficult to justify the capital cost of doing a greenfield facility in India. So we've been looking for various alternatives, and now we find some assets have come up for sale. So it's an opportunity for us to take advantage of that.
Which are the assets that you have bid for?
We've put in a bid for SR. It's our main focus in terms of the distressed assets that we've looked at. So we are focused on that one and hoping it will turn out well for us.
How much time do you think you'll take to turn around the SR Steel's Hazira plant?
I think turning it around is probably one way of putting it, but to take it nearer to its nameplate potential is probably a better way to put it. It's been running in a near bankruptcy mode for quite some period of time, so the previous management was constrained in what they could do. We will be free of those constraints and can probably within a year's time show significant progress, and within 2 years much more progress than the current level of performance of the plant.
What do you make of the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Court of India, and do you expect any delay in the process?
Well, I think if you read the press, there seems to be quite a bit of uncertainty around it, but fundamentally and finally the decision won't be made, I think, in the press. Our view is that the provision is there to prevent willful defaulters from participating in this process, and certainly ArcelorMittal is not a willful defaulter. That's one thing we can say. And then with respect to how the legal authorities will view our position, I think that's still to be determined. We think it's very firm, that we don't have any issues in terms of our compliance with the requirements of this 29A. And we're feeling pretty confident that from our standpoint it's all right.
Right, and from one exclusive to another, there are no active talks to acquire Kirloskar Oil. That's the word from global CEO of Cummins while speaking exclusively to CNBC TV18. He said that the company needs to bring in world-class technology for India's move to Bharat Stage 6. Listen in.
What kind of investment has Cummins India put in as far as this particular technical center is concerned, and what kind of strength does it really add as far as the operations of Cummins India are concerned? What purpose does this center serve?
Yeah, this is a great day for Cummins. It's a really important milestone in our history in India. We've been in India for 50 years now,
Right.
1962. And we've always invested in technology here because we recognize that while we're a global company and a technology leader around the globe, India is its own market. We also see right now the industry is at a really important junction. We're now moving into world-class emission standards in the truck industry. Right. We will be BS6 in April of 2020. Right. And BS6 is the same emissions level the US is in and Europe is in. These are very exacting standards. So we need to make sure we had world-class technical capability in India.
Can we have an announcement as far as Cummins India's acquisition of Kirloskar Oil is concerned in the current calendar year itself? How far have the talks progressed, especially on that particular front?
Yeah, there are no active talks. In fact, I heard this rumor. It's no truth to it. There's no active talks. You may know we have a long history with Kirloskar. In fact, we started in India with them. It was a great partner, a great relationship for which we're very grateful. And it's an excellent company, by the way.
Any plans to enter the light commercial vehicle segment also, or the passenger vehicle segment? And if yes, then what is the timeline that you're looking at?
Yeah, we are in the light commercial segment today, with components especially. And we are planning to bring smaller engines to India. We already have them elsewhere, so we are offering those engines in the market. And no plans for passenger cars. And the reason we're not interested in passenger cars is that we really work best when in commercial industrial, where our products get used in very tough applications. Right. That's where our kind of expertise is, so that's where our focus as a company is.
Located 25 kilometers from the heart of Mumbai, Thane city has remained quite literally in the island city shadow. So it came as a pleasant surprise when Thane was chosen as a smart city ahead of capital cities like Bengaluru, Shimla, as well as Thiruvananthapuram. But 2 years after it made the cut to receive 1,000 crore rupees of government funding to transform itself, has Thane got any smarter? As part of CNBC TV18 Smart Cities report card series, Kevin Lee and Ashwini Prayolkar travelled to Thane to see for themselves.
Home to almost 19 lakh people, Thane is India's 16th most populous city. It's best known for its suburban railway station, which sees over 6 lakh footfalls every day. It's no surprise then that when its citizens were asked what changes they'd like to see to make Thane a smart city, an overwhelming majority voted for the decongestion of the station. So the municipal corporation came up with this solution.
One is new suburban station and second is a multimodal transit hub at existing Thane station. As you have asked about new suburban station, this station will be constructed between Mulund and Thane. It will be just 1.34 kilometers away from Thane. And for this station, we have allocated around 289 crores through Smart City.
The existing station is also due for an overhaul in both looks and systems. The entire exercise will cost 845 crore rupees and is scheduled for completion by the end of 2018. But will it actually happen?
Thane station was set up in 1853. It's one of India's oldest railway stations and is long overdue for a makeover, which it will get under the Smart City program. However, in the 2 years since this makeover was announced, only small changes have been implemented at Thane station. There are a few CCTV cameras that have been set up, there are some Wi-Fi hotspots that have been set up, but no big ticket work has started as of yet. As for the new railway station between Thane and Mulund stations, that still remains a pipe dream, because forget about the groundbreaking, even the land has not been procured as of yet.
But the municipality claims that land procurement is beyond its control.
The only issue with the government is about the handing over of the space for construction of the new Thane station. Roughly, it requires around 14 to 15 acres of land. This land belongs to Health Department of Government of Maharashtra.
But this does not mean nothing has happened on the ground in other parts of Thane. For instance, the beautification of 2 of Thane's popular lakes has been completed, with visitors being greeted with LED lights, illuminated fountains and benches. Parts of the city also have free public Wi-Fi. and some public schools have begun installing solar power panels on their roofs. A few public restrooms have also been renovated, and the city has rolled out a mobile application and a DigiCard that citizens can use to avail discounts on various government services. The development, however, is a little one-sided.
I'm standing in Kisan Nagar. This is a 70-acre area full of narrow lanes, dilapidated buildings and a lot of small shops. Now, Kisan Nagar is all set to get a 4,000 crore rupee makeover under the Smart City program. And while the municipality is confident of making this happen by 2020, the citizens are not.
बोल रहे हैं अभी 4-5 साल हो गए बोल के कभी बनेगा कोई आइडिया नहीं उसका भी
एक्चुअली ये एरिया में पूरा सब इनलीगल बिल्डिंग है अनधिकृत बांधकाम वो होने का देख है कि इधर के पब्लिक का ये फायदा होगा कि सब लीगली हो जाएंगे
मैं इधर 92 से यहाँ रहता हूँ ये बिल्डिंग क्लस्टर प्लान का जो आया है ये कब तक होगा ये मेरे को जानना है
With the government cracking the whip in the lead up to the 2019 elections, the municipality is confident that things will be dramatically different a year from now. But the harsh reality is that while several smaller exercises are being carried out, the big-ticket renovations are still in the planning stage. So far, out of 30 proposed projects, work on 3 projects worth 2.2 crore rupees has been completed. On 19 other projects worth 830 crore rupees, work has either just started or is awaiting expressions of interest. That leaves projects worth 4,650 crore rupees that are still just blueprints. In Thane, with Ashwini Priyolkar, Kevin Lee.